Hi guys, George here from Zero Period Productions, and today on Skyrim Saturday Mods, we're taking a look at interesting NPCs as part of the Skyrim Saturday Reunion Tour. Interesting NPCs, sometimes known as 3D NPCs, by Kris Takahashi is one of my favorite Skyrim mods out there, and is something that I very enthusiastically played through back during my Skyrim modded playthrough years ago. Interesting NPCs adds countless new characters to the land of Skyrim, with various quests ranging from small one-off adventures to entire story arcs that bring several of these new characters together. The goal for the mod was to add more depth in quests and storytelling, while introducing new and, well, interesting characters to Skyrim. One of my main complaints about Skyrim these past few years is that so many characters in the game feel one-dimensional, including your very own followers. Interesting NPCs fixes that, and gives us many characters and followers that interact with us dynamically, react to the world around us, and make the world feel much more alive and lived in. In total, the mod adds over 250 new voiced characters, over 50 quests, and more than 25 followers, at least 15 of which have marriage options. The mod is only available for PC, and was originally released for Skyrim Legendary Edition, but was ported over to Special Edition by fans of the mod. For this series, I'll be playing the Special Edition port, which was published by the Nexus mod Caretaker, and has been patched with various bug fixes since its initial release. Because of the size of the original mod, the port was something that took a little bit more time, and I think it's really incredible to see how fans of a mod will put in that much time and effort for something like this. It's really one of the great parts of the modding community. This will likely be a longer mod series, but given the amount of stories, it should stay fresh and interesting throughout. I've installed a handful of other mods for this and future series, including Windsong Immersive Character Overhaul, Nord Waryue's Realistic Armors, and Sovngarde Nordic Font. Today, our journey begins in the College of Winterhold.
Confound it all! This page too! That makes 5 in total. This is unacceptable!
Is something the matter?
A page from one of these texts, and 4 others, torn right from the spine. I've consulted with Urog's apprentice girl, and she insisted, rather emphatically, that none of these tomes have been checked out for years. I told the girl that wouldn't preclude a thief from browsing the cases.
The librarian's apprentice does seem a bit daft. Mistakes happen. You shouldn't be so harsh. If she's the apprentice and not the librarian, then ultimately some of the responsibility falls on, the librarian himself.
I don't blame her, though. It's the head librarian's duty to keep more sensitive texts behind sealed doors.
You see, I told you.
Or perhaps it's the fault of the one who trained him.
There you go.
In either case, the result is the same. It is as I feared. Someone has managed to steal key pages from the writings of Trectus.
No one will miss a few pages from the works of some nameless scribe. Trectus, a forgotten name for a powerful man, founder of the guild. Trectus, the birth name of the mage Shalidor. Trectus, you speak of the king of what? Really? That's Mana Marco. The birth name of the mage Shalidor. Is that true?
Shalidor created Labyrinthian, and his imprint echoes across Skyrim.
Oh.
But I speak of another.
Oh, never mind. I apologize.
Trectus is the birth name of Vanus Galarian, former Sigic monk, student of Iachasis, and founder of the Mages Guild.
How is it that Master Groshub made such an obvious error?
It is not an error. It's far more likely that Urog holds an opposing position regarding the substance of these texts. Not to mention a stubborn refusal to recognize that a controversial theory might actually have merit.
And what controversial theory do you speak of? I'm interested in how Galarian encoded his texts. You carry yourself with some authority. Who are you exactly?
My name is Olivia Moronin, a former member of the Mages Guild at the Arcane University in Cyrodiil.
You're not 200.
When the guild disbanded, many of my colleagues regrouped to form the Synod. However, their objectives do not align with the tenets Galarion and the Council established when they founded the guild. Nor do they abide by the teachings we have stood by in the centuries that followed. Theirs is an organization based on cupidity and lust for power.
Do you think the Synod is responsible for the missing pages?
I have not ruled that out, although the Synod seems more interested in securing existing artifacts of power. Galarion's research, while potentially powerful, was still incomplete. There is no guarantee that any of the 5 spells can even be crafted. This is not to imply the documents are not dangerous. The secrecy of Galarion's methods are a substantial indicator of the level of risk. However, the Synod does not have the patience nor the foresight to recognize what these texts represent.
I'm encoded. I'm interested in how Galarion encoded his texts.
Each book is a cleverly crafted tale that hints towards the ideals of a particular school of magic. However, the overall narrative is unimportant. From what I have gathered in my time here, it seems the school of magic is simply a mechanism. For instance, I found lighting a text with an alteration spell revealed a hidden message written in an ink altered to mimic a human soul. Of course, without the knowledge to light the aura of life aglow, the mage's search would end there. The chain continues until one reaches the destination, the final pages that contain detailed notes on the crafting of a new spell.
A new spell? May I see the texts?
I'm afraid not.
Oh.
The texts are evidence, and the methods Galarion used to encode the journals must undergo further study.
I'm the Archmage, you know.
Once I have informed Urog of his omission, he will add the works to this library's collection, along with the missing pages, should they be retrieved. If you have scholarly interest, however, I can share with you the 5 tales of Galarion's youth. They are quite interesting.
Oh, God, alright. Maybe another time. Because I'm just worried that it would just be like, oh yeah, let's sit here and listen to this for the next, 20 minutes.
As you will.
Well, I want to find out more about this controversial theory, and we can learn about Galarion and his life later.
The majority of scholars are split between 2 disparate camps. Some believe the texts are worthless scribbles written by a child, one who had yet to grasp the vastness of his destiny. Others contend that the author is not Vanus himself, but a pretender hoping to profit from the mage's name. Both camps, however, are in agreement that the texts themselves have no intellectual merit.
So why search for them if scholars believe they are worthless?
There are some, however, who attribute the text to a different origin. Not the young Trictus, but the elder Vanus Galarion. The theory states that Vanus wrote the text in the guise of his younger self, precisely so that scholars would question its authenticity. By diverting the eyes of those who seek power, it provided an extra layer of security, in addition to the cryptic nature of the text itself.
And what exactly is in these texts?
I mentioned the pages from 5 separate texts were stolen. This is no coincidence. I'm sure you can divine why.
The 5 schools of magic. Right? I'm trying to think. Destruction, alteration, conjuration, illusion, restoration. Because mysticism isn't a thing anymore.
Exactly.
Hey, there we go.
According to the theory, there was purpose to Galarion's decision to divide his childhood journals into 5 parts.
I did it.
Contained within each was a tale that alluded to spells and techniques, authored by a specific school.
And how do the schools of magic relate to these texts?
It is well known that Galarion's gifts for magic were quite diverse.
As are mine.
He could restore a rose to full bloom not long after burning it aflame.
Never mind.
All the while fooling the mind into believing its scent had rotted away.
I am not that powerful at all. In other words, the spells involve multiple disciplines.
The theory goes that Galarion was on the verge of completing 5 new spells, 1 for each school. Spells of such tremendous power that even the immortal armies of Manimarco would countenance their fear. Unfortunately, Galarion's obsession with his nemesis deprived him of his patience. Nevertheless, before he embarked on the great battle, he left notes encoded in 5 works, so others could continue his research.
And do you have any idea who stole the pages?
I have an inkling. I was able to glean some clues based on my interviews of the residents of Winterhold, who seem far more observant of mages than the faculty. I sent my assistant, Jado Ra, to investigate the matter further, but I fear something grave has befallen him.
I'll find out what happened to him.
Finally, someone with initiative. I need someone to scout the area he was investigating. Your safety is paramount. If the mage in question is at the site, do not attempt to confront him, even if Jado Ra is in imminent danger.
My safety's paramount. But we just met. Don't we need your assistant alive to find out what he's learned?
The Khajiit is a crafty one. He will leave clues behind even in death. Yet if you sacrifice both your lives, both your efforts will be squandered.
I'll see what I can find out.
Good. Jado Ra last left for Solitude, but it is unlikely he is still there. I would start with the caverns near the shoreline. If you find him, and find him well, he may ask for a passphrase.
If he's working undercover, I can see how a passphrase would be useful.
Yes. The problem is, I seem to have forgotten that inscrutable Khajiit word he gave me. So in exchange, I ask you to tell him this. Tell him how, when I met him, I mocked his whiskers, how they were as black as an Imperial's hair. Tell him that his eyes are so narrow that even when he laughs he looks unhappy. Yet their color still shines as bright as the sun.
Ooh.
And if he finds that too
I wish
sentimental,
Master Jarvis would make his books
tell him he
visible
was
before
more valuable
returning
as a
them.
rug.
Oh.
And when he
Every time I
accidentally
approach
lights
him
his
about an
book on
overdue
fire,
book,
he
it's
would
the
no
same
longer
story.
be worth anything to anyone.
You have to not interrupt people,
Yes?
Eleanor. You have to not interrupt people. You're the assistant, aren't you?
The air is so thick in libraries. Master Gosheb calls it character. I call it dust.
Yeah, you're the assistant that that Olivia doesn't like. So let's start with caves along the shore, like she said. So we do get a marker for where to search, right between the Thalmor Embassy and Shadow Green Cavern. So let's walk from the Thalmor Embassy. Why not? Well, we do have an updated marker. Now it's pointing to Shadow Green Cavern itself as opposed to just the area surrounding it previously. Which I didn't know if that would happen. I wasn't sure if that would, but if anything, it makes me glad that I went to the Thalmor Embassy just in case, you know, it would have had any issue, or if there's someone right outside the cave that I'm either supposed to avoid or get around or even kill. Just playing it safe, you know, as I... Okay, maybe I'm not playing it safe, seeing as I'm just jumping down the mountainside. But this also makes my life easier. Just jump and jump and jump. You know, in real life, if you were doing this, you would have to just remember how long you have while ethereal. And just make sure that while you're jumping down that it doesn't run out. Because can you imagine if it just wore off at the last second right before you hit the ground and you just shatter your legs? Hello? Because we're supposed to be careful here. We're not supposed to put our lives at risk. Which means I am just going to keep an eye out and see if there's anyone around. Oh, here we go, here we go. Jado Ra?
If you are here to finish me, then do it. Don't just stand there gaping.
Relax. I'm a friend of Olivia Marinin.
Liar. Mr. Marinin will not trust one so green.
You don't know who I am. Oh. She told me you two had a passphrase, a way to recognize a friend.
That is true. Do you know it?
No, because she forgot it. She said you had whiskers like an Imperial.
She forgot it again, didn't she? It is not so hard a phrase, but rare enough to not be repeated. Vabatigerini. It is a foolish concept. Such was how she viewed all things Khajiit, and how Khajiit view all things Imperial. If you are here to finish me, then do it.
No, we just...
Don't just stand there gaping.
Alright, it just exited me out of the dialogue and gotta do this again.
Liar. Mr. Marinin will not... That is true. Do you know it?
She said you looked unhappy, but your eyes were bright. Buy the twin moons. I like moon sugar. Vaba Tragindini. So do I have it now that he's told me it? Which that wouldn't really make sense. It's like, oh, you know it? Well, I just told you it.
Yes, that is the passphrase. It is a foolish concept. Such was how she viewed all things Khajiit, and how Khajiit view all things Imperial. I am surprised to discover she did not forget it. Pleasantly, of course.
Sure. Olivia said you were tracking a group of suspects.
Correct. We had interrogated witnesses in Winterhold. Like those at the college, they are very sensitive to mages, and these mages were 3. A child overheard them talking in private. It was but a single word, but it spoke volumes. The word was winking.
Right, there's only one place with that name. The Winking Skeever Inn.
The tavern owner there was, as the maester likes to say, careless. They often are. He pointed me in the direction of a room with a rather curious tenant. He never left his quarters, but of guests he had 5 in as many nights. He could not risk entering the room. A cloaking spell is but a justice trick to mages who can detect the essence of life. It is by the luck of the twin moons that I found a friend in an Argonian named Gulam E, whose swift hands found the pockets of his visitors.
How did you get injured?
That is the fault of my own hubris. Gulam E charged a stiff price, but true to his word, what he possessed was worth every septim. The notes he stole contained 5 prospective locations where the mages planned to conduct their separate research. As per Master Marinin's instructions, I was to return to her with this information. I was about to do so when I saw the mage descend from his room.
Who was he?
He was a Dunmer man, with a wisp of thick hair, eyes as hot as the suns of elsewhere, and wings of crimson war paint gliding down his face. In his presence, this Khajiit did not move, could not move, yet all his fur stood on end.
What did you do next?
Perhaps it is the result of being Khajiit, but I followed, and he noticed, and so he led me here. It is only by virtue of Master Marinin's teaching that I managed to hold on to the document.
How did you manage to keep the notes?
I brought many sets of clothes in order to fashion a story. When I met the Dunmer at the inn, I was dressed as a farmer. When I shadowed him here, I came dressed as a thief. The mage assumed the first was a disguise, and the second my true form. Were I not a Khajiit, it is possible he would see past this disguise to the truth. However, like most illusions, the spell works best on those who wish to believe.
You were lucky. Now get up, fool, you aren't dead yet.
No, I am afraid this cat has exhausted all of its lives. However, if you would be so kind, perhaps you would be willing to listen to a dying Khajiit's final request.
Of course. I have healing hands, you know. Just reach out for my healing hands. There's a light when the darkness ends. Touch me now and let me see again.
When I was but a beggar, there was a Khajiit female who provided me with alms.
Told me now.
She was a poor farmer, but wealthy with kindness. Such was her kindness that she considered my bread. While others tossed their symptoms with disdain, she traded their alms for petty magic tricks. I still remember how her ears perked up ever so softly whenever I would conjure an orb of light in my palm. It was during one of these tricks that Master Merlin recognized my talents. Finally, I thought, this Khajiit will earn some real respect. No one was more proud of me than the farmer. Yet in the months that followed, I changed. Suddenly it was I who could not associate with her.
You were young and ambitious. It was wrong, but you know better now.
You'd not be so kind if I were not dying, I presume. She was much the same. She could have been angry with me, but instead she granted my wish. Many times I would pass her on the street and say nothing. My eyes told her all she needed to know, and nothing she wanted to hear.
I could find her for you.
No, that is not necessary. You see, on some nights you could stare at the twin moons sitting in the heavens like a pair of mismatched eyes. She told this foolish beggar that if one Khajiit prayed to Mesa and another prayed to Secunda, they could communicate through the stars. Her moon was Secunda and mine Mesa, so my final request is this. The next time you look at the night sky and see the moons in flight, tell her I'm sorry, and I never had a better friend or a kinder one.
I'd be honored to.
Your words warm my heart. This Khajiit thanks you dearly, but we are not done yet. There is still the business of the nodes, yes?
What teachings are you referring to? I'll take the notes to Marinin. Well, what teachings is... He's a mage. He's her student. So he's learned from her, who's clearly very talented as a mage.
Thank you, friend. With that, this cat can rest easy. Tell Olivia not to blame herself. Her teachings did not fail me. They are what gave this poor beggar a reason to live, and honor in death.
Can I read the notes? I can, okay. I have scouted some possible research locations and believe they should provide adequate privacy, ingredients, access to materials, and test subjects. My contacts at the East Empire Company have arranged for Aerith to use the dock warehouse in Windhelm, along with some protection. And no, they don't like it when you heal their scars. High up in the mountains of Hafingar, there is a settlement once known as Ironback. Liana can alter it to make it more habitable. I take it, after the last incident, Aaron wants nothing to do with Aerith, so I've arranged for him to burn other people's pets at the Watchtower in Falkreath. There's a troll cave just east of Whiterun with plenty of dead hunters for you to play with Melisandre, although I can't guarantee they'll be men. Lastly, on the shores of Eastmarch, there's an old shipwreck. Tyrion, I'm sure you can convince the bandits there that you are a friend. I have news regarding your assistant.
Well done. What have you learned?
I'm afraid that Jadara is dead.
That is unfortunate.
Jadara.
He was a good mage. Were you able to procure any information at all?
That's a little callous of you. He died in your service.
Quite the contrary. When I say he was a good mage, it is perhaps the highest compliment I could ever pay him. I knew the Khajiit for 10 years. Do not pretend to understand our relationship, and do not presume you can better eulogize those you barely know. It is more insulting to his memory that we diverge toward a meaningless argument, when the pages are still in the hands of rogue mages. Now, do you have any information for me or not?
He was able to procure these notes.
Let me see those. This is precisely what we needed. You have done admirably, as did my assistant in delivering these to you. Now that you are entrenched in this matter, I have no doubt that you are the only one capable of pursuing it to the end. This is far more perilous than the previous job, but I believe you will reward my confidence in you.
I mean, the previous job had no peril at all, so... Alright, what comes next?
As you may have guessed, the 5 locations listed are likely secluded areas where the mages can conduct their individual research. 1 mage for each school of magic. To defeat them will require skill in cunning, and an understanding of the strengths and weaknesses of each art. The notes will provide their locations, and you can consult me for any advice regarding their procurement. Do you have any questions before you go?
I have questions regarding the different schools of magic. Let's see what she says, yeah.
Indeed you must. I will offer any assistance I can.
Tell me about conjurers, tell me of illusion mages, destruction mages, alteration, and restoration mages. Tell me of illusion and alteration. I feel like the others are a little bit more straightforward in regards to how I might defeat them.
An illusionist attacks the mind. He plays the drums of courage and fear to convince both you and the bandits that they are invincible. Illusion can fool your eyes, become your heart's greatest desire, but it cannot fool all the senses, and that is where you will find truth. However, the greatest illusion is not the product of any spell. It is the doubt one has in the efficacy of illusion magic. Do not underestimate the illusion mage. That is my advice to you.
Alteration?
To know that reality is a falsehood is the essence of alteration magic.
Ah, the Godhead.
While illusion affects only the caster and the target, alteration is to change the very fabric of our world, so that all are affected. Alteration can be used to blind your opponent with mage light, or turn your flesh into steel. It is a magic that prevents stealth, as a mage can detect your presence while cloaking his own. Alteration does not have an offensive spell. What it does is use endurance as a weapon. Whether it be with potions of health, stamina, or magicka, one must be prepared for a long fight.
Alright. Let's go with that for right now.
Very well. Return to me if you seek my counsel.
So let's see where these 5 are. We have... well, the 5 locations that we saw from the note. Ironback Hideout in the mountains is the Page of Alteration, the Page of Illusion, the Page of Restoration, the Page of Conjuration, and the 5th one... I just saw it. Wait. Right, Falkreath Watchtower. Okay, so let's start by Windhelm, because we have Restoration and Illusion right there. They're Restoration, which means they're going to have a ward active. So maybe we'll use Drain Vitality to stop them from casting a ward.
Now ain't time to end this little game.
Bran, no!
Just a scratch.
Bran, why? Also, for a Restoration Mage, she's using some offensive abilities right now. Oh, wait! Bran, Arya, Rickon? Oh, man. Aha, there goes your magic. No, none of that. She did try to use the ward, though. She did indeed try to use it. Oh no, it's Windings. Oh no. Vanis Galarian was writing in Windings. Alright, well, next up we have the page all the way out here. We'll take a little bit of a walk. We'll take a little bit of a stroll. Wreck of the Winter War. Discovered. Oh, are they in a cage? Are they trapped?
You're not afraid you'll set fire to something?
Oh, you're trapped. Wait, no, you're dead.
Never should have come here.
Hello?
Fools are actually fighting.
Hello,
You
fisherman.
want something from me?
Okay, you stay in there. Well, they did say it's like, oh, convince them that you're a friend. Not a friend. Did not convince them at all. Did not go well for him whatsoever.
Wait to count out your coin.
Well, that was even easier. I didn't have to do anything for that. Oh, hey, don't block me. Let's just clean up the bandit scum here, and then we can head on and discover the next page. You know, I'm really glad I opted for Nord War UA's realistic armor replacers. Like, this is real nice. Look at this. Look at this. This is lovely. The bandit leader, the bandit chieftain, had a great bow. This fake fisherman, he had a different axe. Like, look at this. Look at all this. Branded iron shield. Man, kind of funny that he's using a branded iron shield when he's got some good quality armor. Doesn't matter to me. Didn't save him. So next, let's head down to Falkreath. There is a dragon flying around. He hasn't bothered me yet, so maybe he'll just leave us alone. Maybe we'll get lucky and he will just bugger off and not bother me today. Unlikely, because that's all dragons ever do. They just look for ways to make my life miserable. He's also just... You're kind of clingy right now. You gotta get out of here.
Never should have come here. God, the horse!
Ah, and you're using a ward too? That's the thing. I'm not sure if they really actually abide by the skills that are mentioned. I don't know if they really abide by the schools of magic that are mentioned for them. Who's down there? Is it just the dragon that I'm detecting? Either way, not gonna sweat it. Next up, let's head up towards Ironback Hideout. Do you hear that sound? What is that sound? It sounds like mechanized bees, like electric bees. Is it just me? Or we're moving away from it, whatever it was. Is she gonna send a swarm of bees after me? Is that what's going on here?
Time to end this little game.
Oh, look, she's hiding out with them. He or she. She's hiding out with them. Those fake Stark children can't save you and your friends now. Oh, this one bandit's not even wearing armor. Neither is he. They're all just wearing clothes. Which, I mean, they did say it's like, hey, this will be a fitting settlement. We could set this up as a settlement. It is. Because, frankly, despite you being an alteration mage, you really just used destruction. You had enough of me? I've had enough of you. I'm sorry, that new fancy armor can't save you now. And that just leaves one more page. That just leaves the page of, if I could just scroll over the right one, scroll over the marker. Well, okay, it's fine. Whatever. We'll be there in a second. Oh, is that the mage right there? Like, literally right there? It is. Ah, didn't kill her. Also, Melisandre? Men? Oh, no. Oh, boy. Well, she is the conjurer. Hello? Oh! And they're not even alive. I can search them. Oh. Well, that's what I get for killing her before... Oh, that's what I get for killing her too quickly. Yeah, they're all just dead, but they're all standing up and they're all wearing the fancy fur armor. Oh. Okay. And now you'll just forever have a bolt sticking out of your stomach. Eyes closed, not a care in the world. But we got all the pages, let's head back to her. Okay, so I do have to turn them in one by one.
Wonderful. Be sure to check with Colette if you have any injuries.
I'm okay. I have the restoration page.
Stupendous. I hope you did not cause too much collateral damage in procuring these.
None whatsoever. The conjuration page. Oh, 100 gold per.
Excellent. To defeat a conjurer is to defeat the armies of Oblivion and Death. No small feat.
Not really. Alteration page.
That is tremendous news. If you're running low on potions, be sure to stock up at Virna's.
And the illusion page.
This does not seem to be the right page. Be careful with illusion mages. Things are not always what they seem.
Do I need to go back to it? Oh, what?
Until next time.
Oh. What do they do? Hide it up their bum or something? I guess we'll find out. Give me a sec. Is the bandit still alive? Oh, you were, oh! The fisherman was alive! It was him! You!
I do hope you know what you're doing with those flames.
Guard the horse!
He doesn't even put up a fight! Wait, get back here! Because they were both fishermen. That's tricky. That's tricky right there. Well played. Of the 5 mages, you are the only worthy adversary. Because you were not as straightforward. You were a little bit smarter than the others, frankly. But now you're dead. And I'm still alive. So, you know. Haha. What if I had just, you know, as a maniac, decided to kill him in the first place, and then I realized that he had the correct page? Or what if, being a kind soul, I had decided to free him? Would he have left? Would he have run off? Would I have been just more screwed?
Greetings, Archmage.
Now I have the illusion pages.
Fantastic. Although I will have to verify if the text is real. One can never be too careful with an illusionist.
Well, it looks like I've recovered all the pages.
That you have. I will have Urog get on rebinding the books immediately. In the meantime, I offer you this staff as a reward for your service. It has no celebrated history. However, not all things powerful require such affectations, nor do they deprive you of the experience you have earned. Through these trials, you have proven your ability as a mage is without peer, and for that reason your mission is not yet complete. For the knowledge and experience you have gained through this quest must be shared with your colleagues here at the college, so that all may benefit.
I'll do my best.
Our business, however, is suspended for now, although I may need your assistance once more in the future. Let me again offer my sincerest thanks, on behalf of all mages, not just myself and Jadu Ra. The knowledge extracted from these texts may lead to great discoveries and new frontiers.
The next time you look at the night sky and see the moons in flight, tell her I'm sorry, and I never had a better friend.